Now the topic we're going to look at in this video is factorization by grouping. But my first question is a binomial expansion because I want to show that factorization is the opposite of expansion. So first I'll multiply the p by the m and get pm, and then the p by the negative n and get negative pn. And I'll multiply the q by the m and get positive qm, and the q by the negative n and get negative qn. So now my second question is to factorize pm take away pn plus qm take away qn. The first thing we're going to look for here is if there's anything common between all four terms. And clearly there's nothing common between all four terms. And that's how you know it's a factorization by grouping question. There'll be four terms and there'll be nothing common between all four terms. So what you're going to do is take it two at a time. So I'm going to look at the first two terms, the pm take away the pn, and p is common to both terms. So I'll write p, open brackets, and then I'll divide the pm with the p and get m. Then I'll divide the negative pn with p and get negative n. Now I'll look at the remaining two terms and I'll see what's common between both of them. And it's obvious that q is common to both terms. So q will be my highest common factor, and that will be positive q. So I open my brackets, and now I divide qm with positive q and I'll get positive m. And I'll divide negative qn with positive q and I'll get negative n. Now notice that these two brackets are the same. So when you're doing a factorization by grouping question, you'll always get these two brackets being the same. If you get them being different, you know you did something wrong and you need to check over your work. So what I'm going to do now is take what's outside the brackets, the p and the positive q, and put them in brackets. And now I'll take the m take away n, that's occurring twice here, and write it once in brackets. And that's your answer. So notice in expansion, I got rid of the brackets, and in factorization, I got back the brackets. Hence, factorization is the opposite of expansion. Now in question 3, I have to factorize 2x squared plus 10x take away 6x take away 30. Now I immediately notice that 2 is common to all four terms. Therefore, I go ahead and factorize. So I write the 2, open brackets, and I divide 2x squared by 2 and I'll get x squared. Then I divide 10x with 2 and get 5x, positive 5x. Then I divide negative 6x with 2 and get negative 3x. And then I divide negative 30 with 2 and get negative 15. So inside the brackets, I have four terms and there's nothing common between the four terms. So I'll try to factorize it by grouping. So I'll look at the first two terms here and see what is common between both of them. And x is common between both terms. So I'll write x, open brackets, and I'll say x squared divided by x and get x. And 5x divided by x, and I'll get 5, positive 5. And then I'm going to look at the remaining terms and see what's common between both of them. Because the first term in this pair is negative, our highest common factor would be negative. And 3 is common between both terms. So we write our highest common factor as negative 3. So now I'll divide negative 3x with negative 3 and I'll get positive x. And I'll divide negative 15 with negative 3 and get positive 5. Now I'll take the x and the negative 3 and write them in brackets. And then I'll take the x plus 5 that's occurring twice and write that in brackets. Now this is not the final answer. We still have to put back in this 2 that we took out up here. So I write that as 2 and put the brackets like this. And that's your answer.